And as you can see, tickets are still on sale for SWC and hi-rezexpo.com. You can head over to hi-rezexpo.com and get your tickets right now to come and join me, Tolly, and all the other hi-rez staff, as well as some of the best players in the scene.
You're going to see some Smite action, some Paladins action, and maybe some other things behind the scenes.
And talking about Smite action, what better way to spend your Monday than watching some console league shenanigans? We're going to start things off today with a little bit of Eager versus SoaR.
Right now, Eager standing tied first seed with Return Gaming, formerly known as Most Wanted. Right behind them, Aware only 1 point away, and SoaR tied with Elevate at 8 points each.
Yeah, the big key there as well is definitely SoaR looking to find some wins here to try and catch up a little bit towards the top 3 teams in the region of North America here. Up against Eager today, who are sat comfortably at number 1 for the most part here, but SoaR could cause some issues.
Eager have been very consistent right now at the top of the top. The last time these two teams have faced each other, it was Eager taking home the 2-0. They've been through a little bit of roster changes on SoaR's side. Eager, they've been doing some role swapping, specifically with Jellly and Myflin, switching between Guardian and the jungle side, and it's been working out for them.
It has worked out for them. There's a little bit of like teething issues there with the team switching things up, but it seems to have settled down quite nicely for them. As well as SoaR, obviously a couple of roster changes coming through from them over the course of this split, starting to find a little bit of form now, and we'll see how they can perform in the first game.
ELSoaRchapo was switching between jungle and other roles. Right now they're steady with Shaliber in the mid role, so we'll see how they go into the picks and bans, if they're going to be developing some new strategies, because right now there's only 2 more weeks remaining in the Smite Console League online phase.
This week and then next week, and that's the final 2 they're going to have to play, so let's go through this. SoaR will be first pick, first ban, and the Kwong is the first thing taken off the tape.
Not a bad first ban right now, especially if you don't want to go for that strategy. ELSoaRchapo more known for these high mobility gods such as the Thor or even Susano.
Or even Susano Terra taken out, as well as Sol, and it's back to Eager for what the last thing they don't want to deal with. Obviously, we see a lot of Guan Yu on the console side of things. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Guan Yu ban, but the focus has always been to Zeus in the mid lane on console as well.
Definitely not a bad idea to take away this mid-mage magical burst damage, especially on Shaliber, who's new to the role, so taking that comfortability away from him is going to be a good strategy for Eager, as well as them. Whenever you're second pick, you want to ban away the Terra. You don't want to deal with that global presence.
Well, Chapo's going to get his chance to shine on Susano in this first game here. Obviously, high mobility, lots of burst damage on this god as well. Very, very good all around.
ELSoaRchapo is a playmaking guy, and Susano is definitely going to fit to that style. I love the first pick coming out of SoaR, but Eager, they're going to respond with an Athena. I'm not too sure if that's going to go in the jungle role. More than likely, it's going to stay in the Guardian.
Very flex as well. Can be solo laned as well. One of the rare Guardians that can do multiple roles there, as Vulcan locks in for the mid lane there of Eager as well, making sure Delta Marine has something that he can also playmake on, and actually he's got quite a bit more escapability than a lot of people want to give it credit for, especially when you're up against something like Susano.
With his new passive change, as long as you can consistently land your abilities, you'll get that extra mobility to be able to get away, especially, like you mentioned, against the Susano. Very hard, but it's going to be Eager trying to initiate first. With this Athena-Vulcan combination, if you can land the taunt into the meatball, displacing the enemy target, there's going to be a lot of follow-up after that.
We're seeing a lot of Guan Yu on console, we mentioned that earlier on, but obviously more than likely going to be going into the duo lane here to be alongside this Freya. Allows Guan Yu to group up those minions with the Tallow Assault, and Freya just to burst them down with the pulse. Helps out Freya's wave clear early, and just gives her a bit more sustain too.
Normally when we see a Freya, it's coupled up with a Fafnir. Without a Fafnir ban, I'm surprised SoaR elected to go for the Guan Yu, so that means they're more relying on the sustain composition strategy instead of more of this attack speed team fighting composition with the Fafnir.
Well, back to Eager then for their final pick here as well. We'll see where they end up going to. Obviously, they're going to have to pick 2 more after the counterban phase, so they do want to lock themselves in a jungler, and they're going to go with Awilix. Nice combination with Vulcan there. A lot of purification burners on this team already. The Athena taunt and the gravity surge from Awilix.
I'm surprised they didn't hold on to this Awilix pick later on, because SoaR could have potentially pigeonholed themselves with their next 2 picks. Eager has the last pick opportunity. Now, granted, Awilix couples very well with Vulcan meatball combination, but maybe SoaR could have picked up some jumping gods, which would have been even more tempting for Eager to go for Awilix, which means they have some interesting next strategy picks.
Well, the Odin banned out by SoaR there, pretty unsurprising, especially against a Guan Yu. It's very good at locking him inside that cage and making sure the healing doesn't make a part of the action as well there. It's also pretty good against Freya just to force that ultimate.
Ice's ban, surprisingly enough, coming out of Eager. That's a good ban because paired up with Susano, who's already dominant enough as it comes from the jungle, you don't want to have one of the strongest early mid lane gods to pair up with that. SoaR would be able to control the jungle really well. So now this allows Eager some flexibility in the beginning of the game. Even going for this Amaterasu, preparing themselves for that late game.
Yeah, Amaterasu locks him. Now we could actually see a Fafnir come out from SoaR here if they wanted to and put that Guan Yu in the solo lane if they so choose. Obviously Amaterasu, not the strongest in the early stages of the game, but it will develop later on.
But but it's a very counter big matchup for the Guan Yu. You don't want to really pigeonhole yourself because the silence is going to come out every time that Talu Assault comes out. So it's going to be the Zhong in middle for SoaR. Surprisingly enough, we haven't really seen these pick very often, only one time so far in the SEL.
Yeah, biggest issue with Zhong has always been the fact that there's a couple of relics that come into play that can really shut him down for the most part as well. Obviously, the fact Shell is a big thing, and then you've got, at the same time, Sprint can really come in handy just to give yourselves the mobility to escape.
It seems that SoaR going for the long team fight composition between this Guan Yu and Zhong. There's going to be a lot of damage over time, as well as a lot of healing over time from SoaR. So it's very important for Eager to find the picks as quickly as possible, maybe find somebody from SoaR out of position. But this Ymir pick coming out of SoaR, it's a really smart idea, especially against this Vulcan Amaterasu Athena that can't get over that wall.
It also kind of shows them the opportunity for doing it against Zhong as well, because you actually wall them in so Zhong can get the damage off as well. It can be used against Zhong a lot of times. We saw that at the World Championships in the last one just gone by, where Rafa was doing that a lot. But Chronos will be the final pick for Eager here for their duo lane. So they're relying a lot on the Awilix for their physical damage here.
This is a good composition between both teams, a good mix of physical and magical on their side. And the later the team fight goes, definitely got to give it to SoaR though. They have the Freya, they have the Guan Yu. If this goes to the late game, I'm expecting SoaR to really run away with this. So I want to see Jellly be able to make some really good early game plays with Delta Marine.
Well, into the jungle they go. SoaR there early on, just going to try and drop some walls down, see if they can find a cheeky pick on the way as well. Obviously with Ymir, they can find a nice easy way of getting some free damage off at least and for some early purification. And talking about relics, we do see straight away Jellly has opted for that Wrath to start things off.
Which means that he's going to be playing rather aggressive to start off the game. With Uzzy playing Guan Yu, I wouldn't be surprised if Dwurst controls the matchup like we mentioned. Every time that Talu Assault comes out, the silence will immediately follow up from Dwurst, and as a result, the wave is going to be constantly under Uzzy's tower, which might give some flexibility for Dwurst and Jellly to look for that timing window around 3:15 to look for that blue buff or speed buff invade.
Well, Shalaba's starting build here as well, going for that early physical protection available to them as well, just making sure you can get that online just to deal with the Awilix in the early stages of the game. Obviously, those feather steps can do a hell of a lot of damage, and Zhong coming up to the wave makes you more susceptible to being hit by those.
It's very misleading just how much damage Awilix can really do with that feather step, especially not only that, you can get countered by trying to synergize off of your 1-2 combo on Zhong. If Jelly's patient enough, he can completely negate it, which would also negate the healing coming out of Shalaber.
Now the Ymir in the duo lane will help things out a little bit earlier on for the side of SoaR Gaming. Obviously Freya not the greatest of wave clearers in the early stage, but Ymir definitely is. Those glacial strikes do a lot of damage in the early stages, and generally you'll put at least 2 or 3 points in as a support to give yourself some dominance.
Especially with an 8-second cooldown, it doesn't really matter where you put Ymir, and this is why we see a lot of flexibility with him as a pick. He can go solo, jungle, or support. Myflin taking a lot of damage off of that one ice carpet and one in hand.
But wave clear advantage did go the way of Eager there as well, so it really did help out a little bit. And you mentioned the in-hand on the Ymir, and that's an important factor there. That passive that actually just increases the amount of damage you do after an ability and just doubles the amount of damage that the auto attacks do.
It's about 100% increase in your in-hand damage for about 4 seconds or so. So with Glacial Strike being an 8-second cooldown, you have a lot of damage output. However, though, AirCougar has more wave clear in the early game than StormyRays, so this is why Eager have been controlling it thus far.
Well, Myflin did exactly what he needed to do against StormyRays there and used the taunt as soon as the pulse is used, trying to lower the amount of damage you can do to the wave and keep the lane pressure on for the time being. Obviously, Chronos and Freya, both magical hunters, great scaling into the late stages of the game, and both bring similar things, yet different at the same time.
There's going to be more CC coming out of AirCougar with a time stop, especially off of the Athena taunt. That's what you're really looking for, this chain CC combination. Whereas StormyRays, he's looking to blow somebody up off of the one long duration freeze from ELSoaRchapo.
That was a good banish, but an even better taunt for Myflin there to stop the freeze so quickly. Q could take a lot of poke, however, from that. And obviously, he was on the front line, but now Jelly's on the rotation, looking to turn it around on ELSoaRchapo, who faces him to make sure he doesn't get knocked back. And obviously, a tanky Ymir in the early stages, he'll be able to weather the storm.
A nice little sprint from ELSoaRchapo, making sure he can walk away from Jellly. And I like this battling between these two duo lanes right now. So much action right away, even before level 5. Normally, we wait until the mid lane, there's some action in the 2v2, but all attention on these magical hunters.
Love the fact Jelly's the one rotating as quick as possible early stages. Obviously, Susano can semi-match the pace, but Suku really makes a difference in the jungle.
Especially with ELSoaRchapo and StormyRays playing that far up. It was very important for Jellly to try to alleviate that kind of pressure, but but finding a pull onto
Nice
Shaliber.
combo.
The Vulcan ulti doing a little bit of damage, but can they find the kill?
Well, it looks like Shaliber should be able to get out, but going to try and return a bit of damage with those ghosts. And at the moment, Shaliber will escape the gank opportunity that pretty much came out of nowhere there. And the purification was a little bit late coming out from Shaliber as well. Luckily enough, though, he will live to fight another day.
Still a favorable trade, I would say, coming out of Eager. They traded 2 ultimates for Zhong ult and his purification, which is going to last quite a long time. So Delta Marine and Jellly can keep abusing the mid laner here. I expect them to look for an invade potentially with Dwurst pushing out in Uzzy.
Surprised Chapo didn't get picked off a little bit harder there, but he will get away from that. You did see Uzzy, though, get to those fire elementals on the right-hand side as well, so starting to try and dominate the Amaterasu, but giving up that wave clear for a second has now allowed them all to go into the jungle. 3 members of Eager strong with Athena coming in, but a good ult from Chapo is going to slow them for a second. Immediately, Jellly tries to get out, but Chapo's still on him on the backside too. The 2 assassins going at it, and Chapo's not liking it, and neither is Jellly, but Jellly walks straight into Shaliber. The rest of his team's starting to retreat here, and Shaliber's going to get first blood.
Just caught
with a
off.
really easy exorcism.
Just caught off in the wrong direction, separating himself from the team. It was all about Uzzy separating that team fight, but Myflin forcing out the purification. Chapo, he wants one more kill, and he gets it.
He gets the kill, but can he get away as well? Myflin's still going to give chase, and Dwurst is here, but Dwurst low on mana. Going to make it very difficult for them to really pick off Chapo here. Although if Myflin finds a good taunt combo, going to be denied by a nice little wall by Brochacho for at least a second.
SoaR just completely punishing Eager for invading that speed buff. Getting those 2 kills is definitely worth it right now. Separating themselves in the experience, they're going to be able to outfarm them right now. And if they really wanted to, they can look for an invade. Look where Uzzy is. He's going to go aggressively around the blue buff.
Yeah, blue buff on the right side is being stolen away now. And I'm very surprised that happened to Eager there, Tully. That invasion that came out on the speed buff, they had 4 members there overall, Athena as well, and it just didn't work out well because Chapo's ultimate just seemed to cause them chaos to begin with.
The Typhoon did a lot of damage. Despite the ultimate coming out of Myflin trying to assist in numbers, it didn't really work out in their favor because of just how much damage Uzzy did once he came in with a horse, just separating the team fight completely. And unfortunately, Jellly just went the wrong way. And now SoaR credited with these 2 kills. And now Uzzy, normally you don't see Guan Yu being ahead of the Amaterasu. He's level 8, and he managed to steal the blue buff away from Dwurst.
Really good stuff for Uzzy and SoaR Gaming. Obviously, they didn't win last time these 2 faced off against each other. SoaR still going through these roster changes and trying to find themselves a comfortable team to play together. And it seems to be starting to work out for these boys now.
Both teams have something on the line right now. Eager, they need to win both of their sets today to guarantee themselves the first seed. SoaR, they need to win to be able to still stay in the land contention.
Where do you think Chapo's going with this build here on the Susano in the jungle? Is this going to be a hi-rez potentially coming out?
It could be the hi-rez star. It's a very cost-efficient item at 1,000 gold. It gives you that 10% cooldown reduction, 20 physical power. It's not a bad idea to pick it up, especially when you're going to be playing this aggressive early on that Chapo loves to do. It's just a no-brainer for him.
And Brochacho we're following along with on the Ymir as well. Has the core online. Obviously, it's Talaria boots, giving that a little bit of extra gold there as well as the Watcher's gift. And the mobility, the Ymir is always lacking.
I love what else he tried to do. He tried to dash to intercept the silence coming out of Dwurst, and that's also going to force out an ultimate under his own tower. And without the teleport being available, it seems that Uzzy's just completely controlling this matchup, whereas he shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's a really good situation for them. Over to the dual lane we go now, and we see Stormy trading off with AirCougar here. AirCougar with a bit of a lead in terms of experience right now, but at the moment StormyRays really won that trade heavily.
He's doing a great job backpedaling away from the timer from AirCougar, just reading him out very well. And now in the mid lane, gonna find a freeze onto Delta Marine. Purification being used, taking a lot of damage. And Shaliber, he's going in.
And Shaliber's gonna get the ultimate off. The meditate did come out, but it's not gonna stop Delta Marine going down. And boom goes the dynamite from Brochacho there on the Ymir as well. So 2 quick kills yet again for the way it's sold. They're looking towards the Gold Fury
now. They could easily take this Gold Fury with a 2-player advantage. StormyRays gonna start it up, taking a lot of damage right now. It's gonna be very important for AirCougar to wrap around here and maybe find the invade with Jellly and Dwurst in the front side.
They need to go soon if they're gonna go in, and they do go in. The Gold Fury goes the way of Team Eager, but the fight may not. StormyRays does pick up Jellly for his discretion of going in there. Meanwhile, on the back, Dwurst has to disengage, but Jellly, Myflin's back, I should say, with the taunts to try and slow them down for a minute. 1-0, but the Gold Fury to Eager even things up.
A great Wrath invade from Jellly. Not an invade, but a steal rather, sacrificing his own life. It gives a 5th kill for SoaR, but they're not really going to get anything off of this. So now it's basically limiting SoaR's potential to snowball. That sacrifice was absolutely necessary.
Where was the peel, though, from SoaR there? Where was the zone? Nobody really went to zone duty. They all collapsed on the Gold Fury, and that's what gave it away, really. They just allowed them to walk all the way in.
The problem was StormyRays was taking the Gold Fury for so long that somebody had to get the aggro away from him. He didn't want to get too low into the red right now. It's only a level 9, but Dwurst is so low.
He has his ultimate, and he's going to have to use it, but but he won't get the full channel through. Chapo cleans him up. Brochacho rotating around with his cousin in tow, and they're working out nicely together, these two.
SoaR just playing so well together, finding the picks that they really need to, and now extending this to a blue buff invade, but there's going to be a nice rotation coming out of Eager to try to find some return kills.
Vulcan element does hit onto 3, and the boys of SoaR on the run. Brochacho's being focused down mainly by Jellly there, and Uzzy's going to be able to walk away. Brochacho, however, out of mana completely, but a good Typhoon coming out from Chapo will slow them down. One backfire is all they need, or even a meatball, and Delta Marine will secure the first kill of the game for Eager.
SoaR paid for their discretions. Invading the blue buff was a little bit too risky there as the rotation happened from Eager, so now finally finding their first kill of the game. They're not too far behind after that Gold Fury steal, only down about 600 gold. They should be able to really still stay relevant in the game with their own speed buff.
Still works out for SoaR Gaming though. I guess overall, trading Brochacho for that blue buff on the right hand side and the pick on Dwurst, it kind of works out okay.
Especially with Uzzy already having this kind of a lead. He's a level ahead of Dwurst, and this is what you really want to do. Shut down the Amaterasu early. Don't allow her to really transition in this mid to late game, because once that aura gets maxed out, the mobility that she's going to be able to provide for the rest of her team, Eager are not only going to be able to play offensively, but they can reposition themselves and get away from this all-in composition from SoaR.
We talked about the Hydra Star and Hydra Lament, and we actually see Jellly going the same route here as well on the Awilix in the jungle too. And the pace of this game has been very fast, totally. Maybe mainly set by the junglers, if anything.
7 kills in 9 minutes. I love the action, and it's to be expected coming out of Chapo to force the issue. We saw some early rotations in the duo lane because of how aggressive Brochacho and StormyRays was, and Chapo, he's not done yet. He's forcing the rewind out of AirCougar.
Look at the team. Nobody is around AirCougar here. Athena is on the way to support, but look at the collapse from SoaR in the jungle. 2 members from mid lane on the way around, Brochacho and Shaliber, and the focus is going to be on Myflin, who was the one that rotated in to support his carry. He dashes the opposite way. Cougar still being chased down by Shaliber, who picks up the kill, and Myflin's going to get walled off of escaping too. Another kill the way of SoaR.
But Shaliber overextended too much. He gets traded off. AirCougar dies. Shaliber dies, but Myflin dies as well. So it's a 2-for-1 in the favor of SoaR. They could still play aggressive here. Chapo, he's trying to find Jellly, but he's not going to find the pull.
Not this time round, unfortunately enough. So Jellly will be able to stand under that tower and farm this wave as it comes in. No pressure for SoaR Gaming able to be put onto that tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, mid lane, Delta Marine on that Vulcan is stacking that Doom Orb and pushing out the wave just to make sure, force a rotation out SoaR from that duo.
And that's what you have to do whenever Shaliber is dead. You have to take advantage of and get as many waves over him as possible. You want to be able to match and exceed his level advantage. The Vulcan versus the Zhong matchup, it's going to favor the Zhong in the long engagement team fights.
And Guan Yu there, you can still see he's on a easy time over in that solo lane now. That tower has been weakened, but in the jungle here, StormyRays with a good banish onto Myflin. The wall, not the best place from Brochacho. He's really looking to isolate Delta Marine.
That backfire was perfectly timed, just barely able to squeeze through that wall, but now Brochacho not able to really secure those mid-harpies. It's going to be Jellly finding the bowling ball.
Chapo back to the right-hand side, looking to get Dwurst one more time. Dwurst a little bit low on mana once again, no blue buff for him available, and Dwurst under pressure, forced to ult early on here, but there's Uzzy still going in with the cavalry charge. Going to take a lot of poke for that. The Typhoon will secure the stun from the cavalry charge though. Chapo gets credit for the kill, and Uzzy did most of the work, but the rotation is here from Eager.
Jellly, he wants to find the return kill. Uzzy gets traded 1-for-1. The Vulcan ultimate not on the mark, but now it's Delta Marine caught in a little awkward position. Now Shaliber, he's going in with his ghosts.
Who are you going to call? Shaliber's what you're going to call, really, and Jellly now under pressure as well. Shaliber still on the front side, looking for the card if he can find it. Will get the dot damage, but I don't think it'll be enough for the kill.
It's going to be just enough to find the kill onto Jellly. That's going to be a 3-for-1 right now for SoaR, and it's going to be a heavy rotation. AirCougar getting ultied by Athena now, and that's going to allow StormyRays in mid lane to find a free wave.
Like Shaliber being able to, like, I don't know if he knew that was definitely going to be a kill, but it was like cool as anything, because he just walked away, threw the card and went, all right, peace, I'm leaving. And he died. It was great.
Cool guys don't look at explosions. Shaliber doesn't look at his dots.
However, I'm pretty sure that Meditate was up for Myflin.
I think it just came back because, yeah, it just came back. But now StormyRays in a 1v2, forced to use Purification. AirCougar does not get the rewind off in time, and now Myflin getting pulled back in. He's trying to find the dash away. I think he got intercepted, and now StormyRays, he's in the ultimate form. He needs to find one more hit, but the meditation saving him for now.
Won't save him though overall, because Chapo will dive that tower for another kill the way of SoaR Gaming here. SoaR Gaming starts to run away with this. They're finding picks everywhere, and everybody keeps rotating from Eager and dying as well. Jellly's the next one to turn up, looking to steal a goal for you for the second time this game, but this time time, zone duty is coming into
But
play.
this time, he doesn't have the Wrath available. SoaRchapo channeling his ultimate isn't enough. He finds the Gold Fury secure, but now it's going to be Amaterasu with the ultimate finding SoaRchapo.
Jellly gets one, but Uzzy takes out Dwurst again. Delta Marine on the run away from the whole team of SoaR Gaming, who are after him as well. The meatball going to connect with one, but Chapo still going to be happy to go under the tower here. And he will get away, though, Delta Marine, though, thanks to Jellly helping out with that knockup.
SoaR really wanted to get the kill, but look at this. They don't look for the red buff invade. If they just peek their head a little bit closer, they could have possibly found that invade. But regardless, they found the kills that they really wanted, trading SoaRchapo for Dwurst, heavily favoring SoaR. Not only that, they secured their first Gold Fury of the game. 14 kills to 4. SoaR are just on a rampage right now.
They really, really are. And Chapo in the jungle here. Look at his build. 5-0 and 7 as well for himself. Working towards more than likely Jotun's here, I guess, next of all. He's pretty much full penetration.
And that's what you really have to do. Find the necessary burst damage from Chapo, because there's a lot of damage over time, I would say, between the Zhong and the Guan, but then you have the burst coming out of Chapo and StormyRays, so you have to go for this heavy style, and now finishing off the Jotuns.
So what's the next plan for SoaR Gaming here? I mean, they've got off to a good lead. They got that Gold Fury. They extended their gold lead for really the first time this game now, totally. Is it just kind of continued this path into the next Gold Fury as well and continue the aggression?
It seems that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just keep forcing the team fights, keep playing grouped up right now, because it seems that wherever SoaR go, they're forcing the action, whether it's in the solo lane by Uzzy bullying out Dwurst, or whether it's around mid lane where they're being able to really group up as a unit.
Well, for now, they're just going to continue farming up. Right, Hobby's being looked at here by Delta Marine and Myflin, who'll get it. And the wall, a little bit late from SoaRchapo there, but I like the idea. We've seen that a lot out of him. StormyRays, though, very quick rotation towards mid lane, looking for more picks.
You just have to keep throwing out the walls and throw out the whoops right now. Getting caught out is Delta Marine, but Athena ulti going to mitigate a lot of the damage, forcing out the Purification. Typhoon knocking up 2, but Dwurst is trying to zone out the rest of SoaR.
Meanwhile, at the backside, Shelly went in very deep there to get a lot of damage off, but was it enough for a killing trade? The card will kill Delta Marine just in time, however, and now AirCougar comes in, gets a stun onto 2. StormyRays going to slow them down with the ultimate, deal some damage back. Now the rotation is here from Chapo as well. SoaRchapo gets a kill with his ult and manages to escape for now until Cougar starts trying to run him down and will find the kill in response. Myflin on the backside is also running for his life now.
Myflin now, he's going to be able to escape under that tier 1 tower. It's going to be a 2-for-3 trade for SoaR. They have the sustain from Uzzy to continue the push and get this tier 1 mid tower for free. Overall, SoaR, they've been so successful with these team fights. We saw SoaRchapo staying alive, avoiding the feather step coming out of Jellly by blowing him up with his own ultimate.
Cougar backing it for a second, just cutting off Uzzy there for a second, but the tier 1 tower going down in the mid lane, going to create a nice situation for SoaR Gaming. Now, obviously, a bit more global gold for themselves, as well as some more map presence, because Eager in the mid lane can't walk so far forward anymore.
It's about a 3,000 goal lead for SoaR heading into the 15-minute mark, and this is getting a little bit worrisome for Eager, I would say, because now it's not that big of a lead, but getting into the late game, looking at this Freya, the Zhong and Guan, I just think that these team fights are going to heavily favor SoaR. They have the burst damage, they have the sustain, and they also have the damage over time.
How do you feel about the Gem of Isolation coming out here from Shalibur in the mid lane on the Zhong? It's not something you see all the time, but the slows will make an impact.
It's a great pickup, especially if Eager's sprint is on cooldown. Nobody's going to be able to really get away from Shalibur. Even Dwurst's aura with the mobility is going to get heavily negated by that one specific pickup, and it's a great style to go a utility mage. You already have enough damage, I would say, for the Freya, so by providing this slow, you're going to allow the Freya to really catch up to her primary target.
I expect to see some winged blades come out from Eager very soon. They're going to need them up against this lineup because there's a lot of slows on this team now as well as this goes on, and that's what SoaR seem to be doing, trying to wall people off, slow them down, and then looking for another pick, and Dwurst is in trouble.
He has no idea that he's getting caught out. The dash getting intercepted by Uzzy. The freeze is good enough to find all the follow-up damage. Athena's ultimate was not enough to keep Dwurst alive. Credited with the tier 1 tower on the right-hand side. SoaR grouped up with Gold Fury being down. This is the best play for them right now. Get this tier 2 tower.
This seems to be the whole play, though. Just focus Dwurst as much as possible on the Amaterasu early on and get SoaR ahead because of it. Uzzy's going to get pulled under tower, though, and Uzzy's in a bit of trouble, but the conviction and the cavalry charge will keep him alive for now. Meanwhile, the rest of SoaR do dive deep under the tower, and now with StormyRays here, he's ripping through Cougar's health.
AirCougar, though, he rewinded in the wrong place, getting back into the team. It's going to be a cleanup by the Freya. Jellly knocked down by SoaRchapo, and they're not done yet. They're forcing out Myflin, and they're diving with the sprint.
Happy to dive as well, because they still have the conviction from Uzzy that can help them out too. SoaRchapo may get the last kill of this team as well. One more in hand will do it, and SoaRchapo gets the deer side. It was a bit delayed because Dwurst is now back looking for for a kill himself.
He's trying to dash away. Uzzy's trying to poke him out right now. 4 for nothing so far. I'm sorry, 5 for nothing, but it could be a 6 for nothing if Dwurst falls yet again.
Well, he's up against the whole team here, and he will fall down once more. They could look for a Phoenix if they choose, but instead they're going to fall back towards mid lane here, or even the Fire Giant.
They have the sustain to get everybody topped off. Nobody from Eager is going to respawn in time. Jellly does have the Wrath, but he doesn't have teleport to get in position to use it. So this Fire Giant is going to SoaR.
He should go to SoaR, but at the same time, just going to juggle the aggro nicely here and not take too much free damage from the Fire Giant. All grouping like that can cause them a couple of issues. With all the dot damage around it, they will get the Fire Giant, but everyone lives just about.
SoaR are here to play. They're playing so strong right now. They know what's at stake. They cannot afford to drop any games if they really want to qualify to land.
Yeah, it's currently starting like 4th, 5th position.
Tied with Elevate
right now. It's going to be very important for them going forward to make sure they can make it there. Obviously, Super Regionals will be released shortly as well, just to let you know which teams are actually going to be going, and we'll go into that after this game.
And right now, Eager, they're trying to still get that first seed because right now they're being tied with Return Gaming, so it's very important for them to try to find these wins. The last match that we're going to have today is going to be Eager against Return, and that could be the deciding factor for first seed clinch scenario for North America.
It could be if everything falls the right way of things today. Gold Fury going to be pulled by SoaR Gaming here, and they're actually looking, not necessarily, I mean, I guess we could call this an upset now after the performances that Eager have put in so far this split, Tolly.
I would say so, absolutely, because the last time these two teams faced, it was Eager that found the 2-0 victory. SoaR, they've been a little bit inconsistent so far. Their only wins were against Kingdom so far, and they managed to split against Return once and Elevate once.
Well, this Zhong in the mid lane, it's kind of worked out very well for them, just because the amount of mobility and actually anti-mobility that the side of SoaR have drafted here makes it a lot easier for Zhong to get around in the action and cause problems.
Just smart draft, smart itemization, and then just smart execution and plays coming out of SoaR overall. They definitely have done their homework going into this matchup against Eager, and they're in the winning position right now. They're up 10,000 gold. They have Fire Giant. Yeah. They're knocking down all the towers, and Eager, they don't even want to contest this one.
Can they even contest it though, Tolly? Every time they turn to a fight there, you saw them like try and fight at that tier 1 side on the right hand side, help out Dwurst, and in the end, 6 of them died. 6! Because Dwurst respawned and died again.
That's the worst feeling. When you just respawn, you're trying to help out the team, you get there just barely in the nick of time, but then you die again, giving up so many objectives to SoaR now as a result. They're running rampage and just Eager. They don't want to fight on the tier 2 towers. They're too far behind. They want to try to force SoaR in an awkward position where they might overextend past the Phoenix, go into the Tiny Room, and that's Eager's chance to really get back into this one.
Well, I think it's going to be Brochacha and the walls that could really initiate this. If you can wall them off and get him back to that Phoenix, that's to the Titan, that could cause him a lot of issues. So just keep an eye on the way for minions to come down this left-hand side here. I don't think they're going to be too scared about diving this either, Tolly.
Not at all. They're so far ahead. They have the sustain between Uzzy and the Fire Giant buff. Uzzy's going in with the horse, but the wall from Brochacha's cutting him off.
It is cutting him off, but at the same time, Myflin on the front line will not live long as a low-level Athena. Cougar's already dead. Jellly's already dead. Shalaby gets credit for those. The Ghost's coming up big, and the Phoenix is going to fall on the left-hand side.
Discipline from Chapo, not diving onto Vulcan. He gets the left side Phoenix. He doesn't care about the kill. His team already found 3. They found the left side Phoenix, and now they're going to head towards middle. They don't even care about these kills. It's going to be surrender out of Eager.
Not a surprise to see the surrender coming out from Eager there. There was no real way back in. The way the fights were going, the front line was dying, the back line was dying. There was nothing they could do.
Not at all. SoaR getting the first win of the day. Such great play from them. They definitely showed up in this game. We'll see if they're going to be able to really close out this important set.
Yeah, we'll see.